Have you ever wondered why, despite your best efforts, peace feels so elusive at the end of the day? You've tried everything, scrolling through social media, watching shows until late, or even reading a book. But your mind still races, and your heart feels heavy. The truth is, no amount of distractions can replace the serenity that comes from connecting with God before you sleep. It might sound counterintuitive in today's fast-paced world, but pausing to pray before bed is the secret many overlook. Why? Because prayer doesn't just quiet your mind. It prepares your soul for rest and your heart for tomorrow. Here's the thing. When you skip this sacred moment, you're missing out on something profound. Prayer is not a checklist item or a religious obligation. It's a lifeline. It's where you leave behind your worries, reflect on your day, and allow God's peace to fill every corner of your heart. Imagine going to bed feeling light, unburdened, and full of hope for the day ahead. Sounds like a dream, right? But it's entirely possible when you invite God into your nighttime routine. Some might argue, why does it matter when I pray? Can't I just talk to God whenever? Of course, God listens at any time, but there's something uniquely powerful about ending your day with Him. Nighttime prayer is an act of surrender, a moment to say, God, I trust you with everything that happened today and everything that awaits me tomorrow. It's not just about speaking, it's about listening, resting in His presence, and finding the assurance that no matter how chaotic life feels, He's got it under control. And here's the best part. Prayer transforms not just your nights, but your days. What if you woke up feeling renewed, with clarity and strength to face whatever comes your way? That's the reward of making this simple yet profound habit part of your life. But how does it actually work? How does prayer before bed unlock peace, faith, and even purpose? Stay with me, and you'll discover a roadmap to experiencing the transformative power of nighttime prayer. Praying before bed is more than just a routine. It's an act of surrender and trust in God. Imagine ending your day by acknowledging His presence, sharing your worries, and placing them in His hands. This simple act creates a spiritual anchor, reminding us that we're never alone, no matter how chaotic life gets. Think of a child who feels secure after whispering their fears to a parent. It's the same with prayer. It's a chance to talk to God, unloading your burdens and finding peace. How often do we forget to take this pause and truly reflect on our day? In this modern world of constant noise, praying at night becomes a sacred retreat. It's not just about asking for things, it's about finding rest for your soul. By praying, you're stepping away from the distractions of social media, work stress, and daily pressures. Picture this. After a challenging day, you kneel beside your bed, close your eyes, and pour out your heart. Isn't it refreshing to leave the chaos behind and feel God's peace wash over you? This habit can be your antidote to the anxiety that often robs us of sleep. Prayer at night also deepens your relationship with God. Think of it as checking in with your best friend, sharing your highs, lows, and everything in between. In the Bible, Jesus Himself often withdrew to pray, Luke 5:16, teaching us the value of constant communication with God. When we pray, we're not just speaking into the void, we're connecting with the Creator of the universe. Try this. Instead of worrying about tomorrow, thank God for His faithfulness today, and you'll feel your heart lighten. Moreover, night prayers set the tone for gratitude and reflection. Have you ever considered making a mental list of blessings before praying? A warm bed, food on the table, loved ones' safety, these are everyday miracles we often overlook. When you approach God with a thankful heart, you're opening the door for more blessings. As Psalm 4:8 says, "In peace I will lie down and sleep, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." Why not make this verse your nightly meditation? Another powerful aspect of prayer is how it encourages accountability. Take a moment to reflect on your actions during the day. Did you show kindness? Did you fall short? Nighttime prayer is an opportunity for confession and renewal. Think of it like resetting a compass, realigning yourself with God's will. This honest conversation with Him strengthens your spirit and prepares you for a new day. Finally, consider how praying before bed can influence those around you. When children see their parents praying, it becomes a legacy of faith they carry forward. If you live alone, your consistent prayers create a ripple effect of hope and encouragement in your relationships. It's not just a solitary act, it's a testimony of faith. But what happens after the peace of prayer sets in? Let's explore how it transforms your mind and brings true rest. Ending the day with prayer is like finding an oasis in the desert of our busy lives. How often do we carry the weight of unresolved worries, replaying conversations or mistakes in our heads before sleeping? Prayer interrupts this cycle, offering a sacred space to hand over those anxieties to God. Imagine yourself saying, "Lord, I can't control everything, but I know you can." This act of trust doesn't just quiet your mind, it prepares your heart to rest, knowing you're not alone in your struggles. Prayer at night is like decluttering your mind. Think about it. Just as you wouldn't go to bed with your house in disarray, why let your thoughts remain in chaos? By speaking to God, you're organizing your inner world, sorting through your fears and letting go of what no longer serves you. Philippians 4:6-7 reminds us, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Isn't that the kind of mental peace we all crave? Have you ever noticed how a calm mind leads to better sleep? Prayer acts as a spiritual lullaby, quieting the noise of the day. Instead of counting sheep, you're counting blessings, focusing on God's promises rather than your problems. Take this practical step. As you pray, name 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your mindset, helping you dwell on what's right rather than what's wrong. It's like training your brain to embrace peace instead of turmoil. For those who wrestle with guilt or regret, prayer becomes a powerful balm. It's a moment to ask for forgiveness and leave shame behind. Consider King David, who poured out his heart in Psalm 51, seeking God's mercy after his failings. He found renewal, and so can you. Through prayer, you remind yourself that God's grace is bigger than any mistake, allowing you to rest without the heavy burden of guilt weighing you down. Beyond the personal benefits, prayer before bed strengthens your faith in God's care. When you hand over your worries, you're saying, "God, I trust you to handle this while I sleep." It's like letting go of the steering wheel and letting Him take control, even for just a few hours. This trust fosters a sense of security that extends beyond the night, shaping how you face challenges the next day. But what about those restless nights when peace seems elusive? That's when prayer shines brightest. Even if the situation hasn't changed, the act of praying transforms your perspective. You might start with a heavy heart, but end with a sense of calm. And this isn't just about peace for the night. Prayer builds something even greater. Let's explore how it strengthens your faith and prepares you for life's battles. Every time we pray, it's like planting a seed of faith in our hearts. Even when the results aren't immediate, the act itself strengthens our trust in God. Prayer is a reminder that we're not in control, but we know the one who is. Think of it as a spiritual workout. The more you do it, the stronger your faith becomes. Jesus often retreated to pray, even before performing miracles, Luke 5:16. His example shows us that consistent prayer is the foundation of an unshakable faith. When life gets tough, prayer becomes the anchor that keeps us steady. Have you ever faced a challenge that seemed insurmountable, only to feel a renewed sense of hope after praying? That's the power of faith in action. By praying, you're acknowledging that God is bigger than your struggles. A practical example. When facing uncertainty about a job or a relationship, take time to pray and reflect on Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Faith isn't just about believing in good times, it's about holding on during storms. Prayer equips us for this, acting as a bridge between our doubts and God's promises. Think of Peter walking on water, Matthew 14:29-31. As long as he kept his focus on Jesus, he stayed afloat. Prayer does the same for us, keeping our focus on God's faithfulness rather than the waves of life. Try this. When doubt creeps in, use your prayers to declare God's promises, like I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. One of the most beautiful aspects of prayer is how it reinforces our dependence on God. Every request, every moment of gratitude deepens our relationship with Him. Have you noticed how children instinctively turn to their parents when they're scared or in need? That's the essence of prayer, acknowledging our need for God's guidance and provision. By making prayer a nightly habit, you're not just talking to God, you're learning to trust Him more fully. Prayer also transforms our perspective, shifting us from a mindset of fear to one of faith. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, we begin to see opportunities for God to show His power. A practical tip: keep a journal of answered prayers. Over time, this practice will remind you of how faithful God has been, even in the smallest details. It's a tangible way to see your faith grow stronger with every prayer. As you continue to pray, you'll find that your faith isn't just personal, it becomes a light for others. Your confidence in God's plans will inspire those around you to seek Him too. But faith doesn't just stop at believing, it drives us to reflect and grow. Let's uncover how prayer leads to deeper self-awareness and spiritual transformation. Nighttime prayer is like holding a mirror to your soul. It's a sacred moment to pause and evaluate the choices you made throughout the day. Did you show love? Did you miss an opportunity to be kind? Reflecting in God's presence allows you to see where you succeeded and where you stumbled. This process isn't about guilt, it's about growth. As Psalm 139:23-24 says, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." These verses remind us that self-reflection is a path to spiritual transformation. Prayer invites us to confront our shortcomings with humility. Imagine ending your day by admitting to God, "I lost my patience today, but I want to do better tomorrow." This level of honesty strengthens your relationship with Him and opens the door for His grace to work in your life. Think about Peter, who denied Jesus 3 times, but later became a cornerstone of the church. His story shows us that reflection, paired with God's forgiveness, can lead to incredible growth. In these quiet moments, God often reveals lessons we might have overlooked during the busyness of the day. Perhaps an argument with a friend wasn't just a disagreement, but an opportunity to practice forgiveness. Or maybe a challenging task at work was meant to build your perseverance. When you bring these situations to God in prayer, you start to see His hand in even the smallest details. Try this. At the end of your prayer, ask, "Lord, what did you want me to learn today?" and wait quietly for His response. Nighttime prayer is also a powerful tool for cultivating gratitude, even in moments of struggle. Reflecting on your day doesn't mean only focusing on what went wrong. It's about celebrating God's faithfulness too. Did someone smile at you when you needed encouragement? Did you have strength to face a difficult moment? By recognizing these blessings, you shift your perspective from frustration to appreciation, aligning your heart with God's goodness. This nightly reflection fosters a spirit of intentionality for the days ahead. When you take stock of your actions, you're more likely to approach tomorrow with a clearer purpose and stronger resolve. It's like reviewing a game plan after a match. You learn from your mistakes and strategize for improvement. Over time, this habit transforms not just your nights, but your entire approach to life. As you grow spiritually, you'll notice your actions becoming more aligned with God's will. Prayer isn't just a personal exercise, it's a divine conversation that shapes your journey. Through nightly reflection, you draw closer to God and begin to see yourself through His eyes, not as someone defined by mistakes, but as someone continually being refined. And as you grow, you'll find yourself leaning more on His protection. Let's dive into how prayer shields us in ways we often take for granted. Prayer before bed is like locking the doors of your soul, trusting God to stand guard through the night. As we sleep, we're at our most vulnerable, physically, mentally, and spiritually. By praying, we're placing our safety in God's hands, acknowledging His power to protect us from harm. Psalm 121:4 assures us, "Indeed, He who watches over Israel will neither slumber nor sleep." Isn't it comforting to know that while we rest, God remains alert, guarding us from dangers seen and unseen? Think of prayer as a spiritual shield that covers not just your body, but your mind and spirit. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, gripped by fear or unsettling thoughts? That's where prayer makes all the difference. When you ask for God's protection, you're inviting His peace to guard your heart and mind, as promised in Philippians 4:7. A practical tip? Include specific requests in your prayer, such as protection over your family, your home, or even your dreams. This divine protection extends beyond physical safety. It also shields us from spiritual attacks. The Bible reminds us that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, Ephesians 6:12. Nighttime prayer becomes a way to put on the armor of God, fortifying our faith against fear, doubt, or any influence that seeks to disrupt our peace. If you've ever felt the weight of worry keeping you awake, try ending your prayer with Ephesians 6:10. Be strong in the Lord and in His mighty power. Prayer also reinforces the truth that God's protection isn't limited to the immediate moment. It carries us through every season of life. Consider the Israelites in Exodus 13:21, guided by a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. Just as God watched over them, He watches over us. By acknowledging this in your prayers, you're not only seeking safety, but also building trust in His constant care. It's a daily reminder that no matter how uncertain life may seem, God's protection never wavers. Moreover, when you pray for protection, you're not just securing peace for yourself, you're extending it to others. Imagine praying for your children, asking God to watch over their dreams and guard their hearts, or interceding for friends and loved ones, placing them under God's watchful eye. This act of faith creates a ripple effect, spreading God's peace far beyond your own life. But what happens when we trust God with our safety and experience His care night after night? It changes the way we see the world and shifts our focus to gratitude. Let's explore how thanking God in prayer transforms not only our nights, but our entire outlook on life. Ending your day with gratitude in prayer is like turning the final page of a chapter, reflecting on the good and the lessons learned. Gratitude transforms how we see the world, helping us focus on God's faithfulness instead of life's frustrations. It's easy to overlook the small blessings, a kind word, a safe commute, or even a quiet moment to breathe. But when you intentionally thank God for these, you're building a habit of recognizing His goodness. Psalm 107:1 reminds us, "Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever." Isn't it powerful to end your day on this note? Gratitude in prayer shifts our perspective from scarcity to abundance. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to dwell on what's missing in life? Maybe it's a promotion you didn't get, or a relationship that feels strained. But when you begin your prayer with, "Thank you, Lord, for," something incredible happens. You start to see the blessings you already have, like health, a roof over your head, or the wisdom gained from challenges. It's not about denying difficulties, but about framing them within God's larger plan. This act of thankfulness also deepens your connection with God. When you focus on what He's done for you, it's like watering the roots of your faith. Think of it this way: how often do you feel closer to someone after they express genuine appreciation for you? The same principle applies to your relationship with God. By thanking Him, you're acknowledging His role in your life, which in turn strengthens your bond with Him. Gratitude in prayer doesn't just stay in the moment, it spills over into the next day. When you go to sleep with a heart full of thanks, you wake up with a mindset ready to embrace new blessings. A practical way to do this: create a gratitude list as part of your nighttime routine. Write down 3 things you're thankful for and include them in your prayer. Over time, this practice will train your mind to seek out God's hand in every situation, no matter how small. Even in tough times, gratitude transforms our spiritual outlook. The Bible is filled with stories of people who praised God despite their circumstances. Take Paul and Silas, who sang hymns while imprisoned, Acts 16:25. Their gratitude didn't depend on their situation, but on their trust in God's sovereignty. When you adopt this mindset, you're not just thanking God for what He's done, you're also trusting Him for what He's yet to do. Gratitude doesn't end with us, it inspires others. Imagine sharing your prayer routine with your family, teaching your children or loved ones to thank God at the end of their day. This creates a ripple effect, fostering a culture of appreciation and faith. But gratitude is just the beginning. What if your prayers could prepare you not just for the night, but for the day ahead? Let's discover how this nightly habit equips us for tomorrow's challenges. Praying before bed isn't just about closing the day, it's about planting seeds for tomorrow. When you end your day by talking to God, you're setting the tone for the next morning. It's like preparing the soil for a fruitful harvest. Prayer helps clear your mind of lingering worries, making room for hope and clarity about what lies ahead. Proverbs 16:3 encourages us, "Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans." Through prayer, you align your thoughts and intentions with God's purpose, paving the way for a more focused and productive day. Nighttime prayer is a moment to seek guidance for the challenges of tomorrow. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a decision or task waiting for you the next day? Instead of letting anxiety take over, bring it to God in prayer. Say, "Lord, give me wisdom to handle this situation with grace." By doing this, you're inviting divine insight into your plans. A practical tip: reflect on James 1:5. "If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." This verse reminds us that no problem is too big or too small for God's attention. Prayer at night also equips your heart with peace and resilience. Think about it. Life is unpredictable, and not every day will be easy. But when you end your day with God, you wake up with the confidence that you're not facing those challenges alone. Consider the Israelites gathering manna in the wilderness. God provided just what they needed each day, Exodus 16:4. In the same way, nightly prayer helps you trust that He will supply strength and wisdom for whatever comes next. Moreover, this habit transforms your mindset from dread to anticipation. Instead of focusing on what might go wrong, you start to look forward to how God might work in your life. Have you ever noticed how prayer shifts your perspective, making even mundane tasks feel purposeful? A simple example: if you're worried about a difficult meeting, pray for the courage to approach it with kindness and the clarity to express yourself well. Suddenly, that meeting becomes an opportunity to grow and reflect God's light. Nightly prayer doesn't just prepare you for the next day, it builds a foundation for long-term spiritual growth. Over time, this practice trains your mind to rely on God, not just in moments of crisis, but in every aspect of your life. Think of it like sharpening a tool. The more you pray, the more equipped you become to face life's challenges with faith and wisdom. And as your trust in God deepens, you'll notice a sense of calm that carries you through the highs and lows of each day. But what about the ripple effect of this habit? When you consistently turn to God at night, you're setting an example for those around you, creating a legacy of faith that can inspire others. This practice doesn't just prepare you for the next day, it shapes your entire outlook on life. And when you wake up ready to embrace God's plans, what new doors could that open? Let's explore the bigger picture. So are you ready to transform your nights and your days? The simple act of praying before bed holds the power to unlock peace, clarity, and a deeper connection with God. Think about it. What would your life look like if you ended each day with less stress, more gratitude, and a renewed sense of purpose? God is waiting to hear from you, not with judgment, but with open arms, ready to guide, protect, and bless you through your prayers. But here's the challenge. Will you take that first step? It doesn't have to be complicated. Start small. Thank Him for one thing, ask for wisdom, or simply rest in His presence. The key is consistency. Remember, it's not about perfect words or long prayers, it's about a sincere heart. And if you've already experienced the power of prayer, why not share it with someone else? Imagine the impact it could have on your family or friends when they see how God is moving in your life. Now let me ask you something. What's holding you back from making this a nightly habit? Is it busyness, doubt, or just not knowing where to start? Whatever it is, know that God meets you right where you are. The beauty of prayer is that it's personal. It's your moment with Him, free of distractions and full of promise. So tonight, when the world quiets down and the day comes to an end, pause, talk to God, see what happens. If this message resonates with you, take action. Commit to praying tonight and every night. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. This way, you'll never miss out on more lessons and insights that can deepen your faith and bring you closer to God. Let's journey together toward a life filled with His peace and purpose. What do you say? Let's start tonight.